Peace, YouTube. Y'all know who this is, man. EK back in the building. Another day to be great. Let's get it, man. A little off topic, but as we speak, I'm just waiting for my boys to get home. I'm like 10 points away from Legend right now. Could have been hit it, but just want to hit it with my boys. So a lot of awesome content coming soon with the Legend, with the core patterns. Might make a few new builds. Who knows, bro? But yeah, man, happy about that. But let's get on to the video. So today I'm here to talk about a big part of the game, and if you're a C-Gen player, you're not familiar with this, I'll explain it, because either if there's C-Gen next year or if there isn't a C-Gen next year and there's only next gen, Takeover Perks, I'm pretty certain both groups of people are gonna have them next year. So you got to get familiar with this, and I do like to spread positive, creative things about what can be improved in the game instead of just complaining all the time. I actually do have a lot of great ideas, so I came up with a list of ways to completely balance this system, because as of right now, if you look at these perks, there's 10 of them, but realistically only like 3 to 4 of them even have any use whatsoever, and only one of them, Accelerator, is actually good, and it's good to the point of being, I would say, it's overpowered. But if the other ones were, I'm all for improving other things and letting them catch up rather than nerfing things. Because 2K, when they start nerfing things, the entire game becomes bland and boring. Whereas back in the old 2Ks, what made them so fun is that when something was OP, something else was OP as well. Everything was overpowered and it made the game fun. Just like the old Call of Duties where every gun was OP. This allows for creativity, and especially with this Takeover Perk system, there's so much potential. Even if we don't add any new ones or change anything about them, just improve on the ones we have, it allows for so many more niche play styles in Pro Am and 3v3 and on any court, really, for people that have a group of friends that they play with, for people that want to fill a specific role. It could be a complete game changer if done correctly. So let's get into it, and let me show you how I would rework every single Takeover Perk in this game right now to take it from only one being good to all of them being good, unique, and balanced. Let's get into it. The first one we got is Decelerator. Now, Decelerator is not a bad one, but I feel like the way it's set up, it doesn't make any sense, because it's a flat line rate for whether it says open and somebody is near you, or whether you just scored 100% in their face or dunked through their body. It's an equal decrease, so it still goes up. With Accelerator, without Accelerator, the takeover still goes up. Not as much. Decelerator is decently impactful, but I feel like when you play phenomenal defense, somebody's takeover should not even move. I'm not going this far to say that the takeover should decrease from scoring on a Decelerator, because that would be a little bit too overpowered, and that's I'll save that for a Takeover Perk coming up. But the more you can test someone, the less their takeover should go up, and the less you can test someone, the more it should go up, all the way up to wide open, where this one should have no impact. But it's not a bad one right now, but it could use a slight rework. Up next, we got Minimizer. Now, this is one of the worst ones in the game. All it does is basically makes the other person's takeover, when it's activated, tick down a little quicker. I'm pretty sure it works on and off the ball, but the way I would rework it is, if you're off the ball, it should tick down a little quicker, because it just feels like it has no impact as of right now. But when you're guarding ball, when the other person with the takeover has the rock, which, I mean, a person with an offensive takeover usually would have the rock, it should tick down not only a lot quicker, but if you're playing great D, if you're making life hard for him, you're bodying them up, you're playing great defense, you're cutting off their lanes, their drives, you're hip riding them, it should tick down a lot more for those type of things and reward a good defender, because the red ones are the defensive minded ones. It's supposed to counter the takeover, and that would make a lot more sense. Another thing, when you're doing those things to somebody that doesn't have their takeover activated yet, so say they're halfway to takeover, their takeover should be counting down a little bit. Not if you're just standing next to them, that would be ridiculously overpowered, and not that much, but it should still be ticking down. If you're playing great D on someone that don't have takeover yet, it should be ticking down a little bit. Not into like cold or anything, but it would be perfectly balanced. That would give this one an actual use for people that love to play aggressive defense, and without fouling, without reaching, without jumping. Next up, we have Suppressor. Now, this one, in my opinion, is the second worst one behind Stay Warm. Maybe for some people, it's the worst one. All it does is, it doesn't even negate them. It lowers the attribute boosts from takeover that you get. As you know, when you pop takeover, or when your takeover is going up, there's certain attribute boosts that come with it. Usually, if you have two different takeovers, it's +8 to the key stats, +5 to the regular stats. If you have two of the same takeovers, +5 to the regular stats, and plus, I think, 15 to the key stats. With this one, how I would rework it is very simple. When you're playing defense on somebody, you're near them, you're in their face, you're in the corner on them, whatever, they should get no attribute boosts from takeover of any sort, whether it's activated, whether it's not activated, should be a flat +0. And because that, it wouldn't be overpowered, because you still get the takeover ability, but it does have a specific purpose, and you can feel the difference. Because a lot of people when they activate takeover say they have like an 85 3-point like I talk about, and they have double sharp take, and now they have a 99. With this one, it would go straight back down to an 85. They wouldn't be getting no other boost, and they'd have to actually earn the bucket with that takeover instead of being overpowered. And this one would have a purpose once again for lockdowns that like to play good defense. Up next, for the last defensive red based takeover perk, we have Saboteur. All it does is when you contest them, or you block them, or you rip them, their takeover goes down more. Now, cold in this game is not that impactful, and this one's main purpose is kind of like the old Heart Crusher, making people cold. I would be personally in favor of the cold system getting a rework, even though that's not related to the perks. I feel like people should be able to be more cold, and cold should have more of an impact. So when you make one shot, you're not just automatically off cold if you've been getting boxed and blocked and stopped the whole game. You know what I'm saying? Also, a small Heart Crusher effect on the teammates of the person who you stop would be cool, but what I would much rather prefer for this one, to make it unique, because this is aimed at stopping takeover. When somebody gets takeover, this one is completely useless for the rest of the game. When people get takeover in this game, and this doesn't get talked about enough, people can force the dumbest shots, play the worst offense ever, and get no penalty at all. And Minimizer, like I said earlier, is kind of a counter to that. Especially with my rework, it would make sense, and it would punish bad players that somehow ended up getting takeover. When you block or steal or contest someone heavily with this one, when they are in takeover, they should lose their takeover. Like the one that's counting down and active already should go down an amount. And that would be a perfect balance for this one. It would be a counter to takeover for people that play aggressive defense and can stop their opponent and prevents them from getting bailed out. For our first offensive one, we have Second Chance. This one only had a use last year because of the team takeover system. Now that team takeover is linked to some stupid team-based thing, and we don't even know what causes it, and it takes forever to get. This one is completely useless because going for double takeover, Accelerator is infinitely better than this one. And on top of that, I would suggest with this one, it is a little bit of a niche one. So bringing back regular team takeover and making it so that bad shots, even when you're not in full takeover, drop your takeover a lot more. Say you are going for double takeover, team takeover, and you have a full, like let's say you have shot and sharp take, and then you have team take. Say you have shot take filled up and you're going for double take and then later on team take. If you miss wide open, or you mistime your shot or whatever, your takeover should still go down because you're getting close to an overpowered feature in the game. And with this one, it shouldn't. So that would give it a little niche use for people that like going for double or for team takeover if the rework happened. Now, Sponge is one of the ones I don't have because I never even bothered to get it because I know how trash it is. And with Sponge, all it does is just give you more takeover. It's kind of like, remember how Showtime was in 2K20 and 2K21. It's kind of like that, but for everything. Rebounds, block shots, like anything your teammates do that their takeover goes up, yours goes up a little bit. And as you may understand, if this one was made good or overpowered, all 5 people in a Pro-Am team, or all 3 people in the 3v3 team, or all 2 people in the 2s team would run this one, and they would just all have takeover pretty much all the time, because when all stats and all attributes contribute to it and everybody has it, it would be like a snowball effect. So with buffing this one, I'd be very careful, but just make it give it a little bit more. And things like deep threes, momentum plays in the clutch, contact dunks, alley-oops, basically highlight plays should boost a Sponge teammate. A Sponge is someone that feeds off their teammates, so it should boost their takeover a lot more than what it does. Whereas like regular plays like a rebound or a basic assist, yeah, okay, Sponge shouldn't have that much of an impact. But this is for someone that sits in the corner or a lockdown, or someone that's like an energy player, and it would be a great buff to it without making it OP. Extender is already pretty good, but I feel like the amount of time that it gives you, it's not like really impactful, especially if we consider all the other reworks I'm suggesting, which are pretty hefty, and how good, like I said, Accelerator is. Extender needs to just last longer. Like, it's really simple. It lasts like, what, 33% longer. It should be like 2K19. When you remember when you had the double takeover like, you know, 2 of the same exact takeover, and it lasted way longer than the 2 separate takeovers. It should be like that. It should just last about double longer, and I feel like with all the other changes I'm proposing, that would be a perfect balance. Up next, we have Juice. A lot of people swear by this one. All it does, like I said, it takes, if you have 2 of the same takeover, it takes your key attributes from plus 15 to plus 21, and it takes the secondary attributes from what, plus 5 to plus 7 or plus 8 or something like that. And if you have split takeovers, it only gives like an extra plus 2. It's not that impactful, and I don't know why people overrate this one, but with this one, it should just boost the attributes more. Like, as simple as that. It should just boost the attributes more. I know that would allow some people to say they have like a 75-3, they have sharp take, now they have 99, but that's what it is, man. That's what it should do, because say you're using Juice and then you play somebody that has Suppressor. Now Juice is fully countered, so Juice should be stronger when people don't have Suppressor. And all of this is checks and balances and things that the 2K devs don't really think about, but people like me that play games like Clash Royale and other video games where it's a big competitive scene and a lot of checks and balances, one change to one thing could indirectly affect something else. So Juice should be a lot stronger with giving different attribute boosts, especially to non-key stats. I feel like it should make you all around, and it should just split up the boost between the attributes that aren't even related to your takeover. Stay warm, just when you take a bad shot, you don't lose as much takeover. Now this one is, even if you buff it, it's going to be more of a bum friendly one, but just like what I said with the what is it, a second chance, the horseshoe one, it's more of a noob friendly one, it's more of a niche one. But takeover in general, when you get contested heavy, or when you get people are playing good D on you, it should go down a lot. So if takeover starts going down a lot more, and this one prevents that from happening, say some people in the NBA, so a player like a J.R. Smith, can chuck 5 bad shots and then keep shooting. Carmelo Anthony could take 5 smothered shots and then he'll just come down and hit 3 in a row. He doesn't really get affected by missing, and that's what this should be. This should be, I know this doesn't really promote the best style of basketball, and a lot of y'all that play like with randoms or play rec with randoms, y'all probably, oh man, now randoms aren't gonna get punished for it at all. But I mean, we have to balance these takeover perks, and I'm just trying to offer ideas. So this one should just make takeover not go down at all, or very little, depending on how bad of a shot you take. Or things like turnovers, you know, especially getting plucked, you shouldn't lose that much takeover for it. And it will be a great one for like newer players to have, so that they don't get punished as much for making mistakes. And last but not least, Accelerator. What can I say about Accelerator? It almost doubles the amount of takeover you get for certain actions. If you have like double sharp take, you need a rebound and 3 shots to get double takeover. If you have rim take, you get it in double rim take like I do. You get it in 1 block if you have anchor equipped. It's just an insane one. With the buffs I'm proposing, I feel like Accelerator could stay the same, because like I said, I'm not in favor of making things worse. I'm not in favor of removing content. I'm in favor of adding more content, adding balance, and a system of checks and balances. Let me know what y'all think about these quote-unquote balance changes, if they keep these perks in the game, which they probably will. They might add some, they might remove some, but with the way we have it, we have 10 of them. They're all very unique, and with the changes I propose, people could have a takeover perk for their play style, and it would make them enjoy the game a lot more. Thank you for watching the video. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace.